What's up, guys? It's John. Today we are talking about straight talk Wi-Fi tethering from your own personal device. Now, I have made a video in the past where I kind of explained that the straight talk phones that are out there right now do not allow Wi-Fi tethering, meaning they do not allow you to use your phone's data network as a Wi-Fi hotspot on your phone so that you can connect a laptop or another tablet or whatever to it. Now, in Straight Talk's terms of services, it clearly states that this is against their terms of services. Many phones do not allow this to happen whatsoever. For instance, Samsung Galaxy S7, no Wi-Fi tethering option. There's nothing available in the menu. It's just not possible. Now, I have made some other videos, like I said, and one of them I got called out. A guy said, hey, I wanted you to make a follow-up. You said you were going to make a follow-up and talk about some of the phones that do allow Wi-Fi tethering on Straight Talk's network. Now, just a quick caveat, obviously their terms of service says it's not allowable, it's not doable. Most of the phones I've had on Straight Talk do not offer that option. However, this one does. I bought this one here a couple of weeks ago for my son. I bought my daughter one also, but this is my son's phone. This is the Samsung Galaxy J7 Crown on Straight Talk right now. And if we go in here, we can actually see in the settings that this phone does have mobile Wi-Fi tethering. You can actually use this phone as a wireless router to share your data network to other Wi-Fi devices. Samsung Galaxy J7 Crown on Straight Talk does allow this. It's an option in the phone. Now, since it is an option in the phone that is unlocked, I think Straight Talk would not have much of a leg to stand on for you using it on their network. I don't think that if you're using it on here, on this type of phone, they're going to come down on you, really, because it's an option. It's available on the phone, and whether that is due to some software thing that they overlooked and left it in here, or just it's just allowable on this particular device, I really don't know. I don't know why it is, but this one will let you do it. It does work. I would still, keep it for like maybe some laptop surfing, maybe a little bit of tablet surfing, stuff like that. I don't think I would share this Wi-Fi over to like my PlayStation 4 and then play video games all night or do something like that that would be very data intensive, because I do know this from my personal Straight Talk phone. If you go over like 60 gigabytes on their unlimited everything package, you still have decent enough internet to use, but your video starts streaming at about 480 instead of 720, 1080, or HD, or well, we'll say 2K or 4K. But that, for this reason, makes this a really good phone in my opinion. If you're just looking for a basic phone, this one here is a good model. It's about $100, and it does everything you would want an Android phone to do. Couple of things that, obviously its RAM is a little less, so maybe it's not going to play some of the games you want to play on your device if gaming is important on your phone to you for some reason. But another thing on this one is it would have some limitations if you were doing like video editing. A lot of these videos I throw up here on YouTube for you guys, I edit them on my phone most of the time. Sometimes I'll jump into Premiere Pro on the computer if I feel like just getting nuts, but obviously that takes longer to encode the video. It's a lot more intensive as far as the workflow for video editing is concerned. So editing on a phone for me, when I'm on the go or out of town or whatever, is just a lot easier. Therefore, a phone with more RAM is very useful to me. Now, I've had the Samsung Galaxy S7 for almost 3 years now, which is a long time. I know a lot of people would have upgraded to the S8, S9, whatever by now, but I haven't. The phone works great. The battery usually lasts me pretty well, and it does everything I need it to do. So I will probably just keep it until it stops working, really. It's been a great phone as far as that kind of stuff is concerned. Like I said, it's somewhat frustrating that Straight Talk does not allow the Wi-Fi tethering or Wi-Fi sharing on all of their phones that they have out there. A lot of other companies do offer that and allow you to use the data that you have allotted on your account no matter what. However, Straight Talk just doesn't allow this on most of their phones. Now, in previous videos, I've mentioned that, and people have kind of called me out and said, well, my phone works just great. I use it as a Wi-Fi hotspot all the time. If you go back and watch the entire video, you will notice that I threw the caveat in that many of the phones on Straight Talk do allow this for some reason. Again, Don't know why. Don't know if they just left it out of the software thing and removing it from the phone's actual setup from Samsung. I can't answer why that is, but some phones will work, some phones will not. I've talked to a few people through some comments in YouTube, and some of you guys have reached out and said, hey, this iPhone 10 doesn't do it, or the iPhone 8 didn't do it. I've had other people say, hey, I brought over my phone from Verizon and put it on Straight Talk's network. Well, that phone does it because it was originally programmed for Verizon's network, and they allow that. So, take your chances there. But if you bring a phone over from another carrier and that phone does allow it, it's still going to be usable for the most part on Straight Talk's network. Once the data is streaming into the device, all you got to do is hit the button to turn it on, and you are sharing your data with your other devices. So just bear that in mind. Not all of the phones out there on Straight Talk do offer this. From what I can tell from hearing from you guys out there, it's kind of limited. Some phones will allow it, some phones will not allow it. So kind of go in that with the mindset that if you really want to know which ones are going to let you do it, I would start doing some research online as far as Google is concerned, and just kind of searching around. Most people out there have posted in forums about this. There's all kinds of threads out there you can read up. Look for one that's recent, because if you're reading about a thread from 2018, that phone is probably not available on Straight Talk anymore, more than likely. So kind of take that with a grain of salt. Do some research on that. But if you're interested in a phone right now that they sell at Straight Talk, at Walmart, that you can go in and pick up, that does just about everything you would want out of an Android phone and has a nice large screen, Netflix, Hulu, whatever. The Samsung Galaxy J7 Crown does allow Wi-Fi tethering. So I really do recommend this phone. Like I say, it's a good one if you're not going to be doing anything but your basic social media stuff, looking up some stuff, or streaming video to your phone and device. This one's great. Like I say, if you want to do like high image editing, or with a lot of layers, or video editing with a lot of layers, you're going to want to get a phone that has more RAM than this particular phone does. Now, RAM, random access memory, not storage space. I know they get confusing if you're not totally familiar with computers and how they work over the last 20 years. The random access memory is kind of like the brain power of the phone, and the more things that you have going on in the background of your phone, it will affect how fast your phone responds, does things, whether or not it freezes up or causes a problem or something like that. More RAM equals more power to do things and multiple things at one time. So again, I haven't tried to edit a video on this one. I would imagine it can be done probably all the way up to 1080. I doubt most video editing softwares or apps that would work with this phone will go a lot higher than that. And I say that from experience. I've had other phones. I've edited videos on phones before that were 1080 and or 2K files. So, you kind of take it with a grain of salt. Another thing also is when you're encoding a video on a phone with less RAM, it's going to take more time. It just doesn't have the power to get that job done rapidly. Much like an older computer would, if you were trying to run a software like Adobe Premiere Pro today for video editing, if you have less RAM, it takes more time to encode that video. But obviously, you can always upgrade your computer's RAM, in most cases with a laptop or a desktop. On your phone, the RAM that's in here is pretty much the RAM that it's going to have for the rest of its life. Now, there are phone freaks out there who can take these things apart. They have all the specialty tools and they know how to adjust that or overclock it. I don't personally recommend that on a phone because it can cause overheating, it can cause battery drain or depletion, or it can cause battery strain, which can later lead to swelling of your battery and possibly even the battery itself, for lack of a better word, we'll say exploding. And what I mean by that is if you've ever punctured one of these types of batteries with anything, you know that it usually will start spewing out and not be very good at all. If you've ever punctured one of these batteries with a piece of metal, which don't do that, don't do that. That's bad, very bad. Check out a video on YouTube about a battery like this, lithium ion, being punctured with a screwdriver or something like that. You will notice there is an immediate reaction between the chemical in the battery and the metal, which causes very, very hot flames and kind of a lava-like effect. Very, very bad to do that. So be mindful of that. If you're looking for a phone on Straight Talk, the J7 Crown. It's out there right now. It's on Straight Talk. It works. So if you get it with the unlimited Straight Talk plan, which is like $64, I think, after tax in my particular area, you'll have all the internet you need. I use a ton of it on my phone. I upload videos, I watch videos, all of the above from my device, and I never really have any internet problems. I do every now and again send a text on Straight Talk's network to 611-611, and I will put in the text field usage, and they will send me back a text after a few minutes that lets me know how much data I've consumed so far that month. Now, I have used as much as 70 gigabytes in a month. I've used as little as like 20 in a month. So I don't know if it just balances out or they do an average or how that works, but I really haven't had much problem with like slowdown on my internet, except when I'm in smaller towns, rural areas, something like that. And that's probably due to either a lack of 4G, or if 4G was available, maybe there were 1,000 phones in that area on that one tower, draining what little bit of 4G was available. So that definitely has played a part in some small places that I have been. So keep that in mind. I hope this video helps, and we will see you guys one click away. Thanks for reminding me to do this video. I definitely appreciate that. We will see you guys in the next one.